This week, we journey to Huntley Meadows Park, a 1,500-acre expanse of woods and wetland. It's only when you enter Huntley Meadows that you realize how massive a park this place is. Hey everyone, welcome to one of my favorite spots to photograph and film wildlife. This is Huntley Meadows Park. It's full of all sorts of interesting plants, animals, and microscopic life waiting for a cameraman to photograph or film. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. How about we take a walk and see what we can see in Huntley Meadows Park? Walking along these smooth, well-maintained roadways that snake their way into the park, you can catch sight of songbirds watching from the treetops. There's plenty of wildlife to see in the woodlands of Huntley Meadows, but let's be honest, spotting animals among trees and dense undergrowth can be somewhat difficult. That's why, if you want to get a good look at some animals, you need to leave the woodlands and enter the marshes. These marshes are a hotspot for Northern Virginian bird watchers and photographers. So this is one of the main draws of Huntley Meadows Park, these expansive wetlands that are crisscrossed by boardwalks that allow you to really get into the marshlands, get closer up to the wildlife that calls this place home, and get some really cool photographs and film. So let's see if we can catch anything that's crisscrossing this marshland. Having hauled this heavy camera gear out into the marshes, I was hoping to see something interesting. Fortunately for me, this place is a magnet for wildlife. A major clue that animals were in the vicinity was scattered haphazardly across the boardwalk. Unlike human beings, waterfowl like these geese don't have a toilet. Heck, the world is their toilet. When you spend your day grazing on copious amounts of aquatic plants, you gotta go somewhere. Watching these birds wade their way through the water, which was probably filled with at least a little bit of poop, I found myself wondering what this aquatic landscape would look like under the microscope. So I decided to take a little dip and find out. To my pleasant surprise, I found that it was snowing microbes in the waters of Huntley Meadows. They perched like birds on branches of algae, slithered like snakes across microbial substrates. All in all, they were quite interesting, but I know if I keep talking about them, none of you will stay till the end of this video. Crisscrossing these boardwalks, you can encounter interesting creatures like beavers, muskrats, or giant snapping turtles. Didn't see any of them this time, but I've seen them before. The name of the game with wildlife film is persistence. The more time you spend in a place, the more time you walk its trails, the more likely you are to see something interesting. But remember, there are no guarantees, and sometimes you just have to know when to walk away. Alright, so we are at a bit of a crossroads here. We've come from the marshland, and we have two options. If I take this path, it goes back to the parking lot. If I take this path, it goes deeper into Huntley Meadows Park. I am going to go back to the parking lot, 1, because I have homework to do, 2, because I haven't eaten lunch, and 3, because, quite honestly, I need to use the restroom. Maybe next time, we'll take a look at what's deeper in Huntley Meadows. But before I left, I spotted this enticingly soggy leaf litter. Wanting to discover the secrets hiding in this rotting pile of vegetation, I once more took out my microscope. Interestingly enough, one of the largest creatures I encountered here was also the most peculiar. With their bulbous backpacks and gelatinous, eyeball-tipped antennae, these snails look like something straight out of Area 51. And that wasn't all I spotted. Moving from the drier areas of the leaf litter into the waterlogged sections, I encountered translucent coils of fungus growing on this rotten leaf. Copepod larvae hopping through the water like aquatic fleas. Crystalline diatoms inching along like microscopic slugs. and massive, by comparison, multi-legged ostracods, busily scurrying through this waterlogged undergrowth. All this and more in one soggy woodland puddle. But enough of that. Remember, I've got to go do my homework and use the bathroom. With the sun beginning to set, I make my way back towards the entrance of Huntley Meadows Park, keeping my eyes peeled for any interesting creatures that might cross my path. But no such luck. That's all the excitement I got for one day. That's about all the time we have today. If you get the chance, I definitely recommend you give Huntley Meadows Park a visit. Or, if you're not really the outdoorsy type, fear not. I feature all sorts of wildlife that I've filmed both in Huntley Meadows and abroad on my website and various social media platforms, which I'm showing on the screen and have also linked to below this video. Feel free to take a look if you get the chance. In the meantime, keep an eye out for more wildlife content coming your way real soon.